A decade after the events of Killer Piñata 2017, Lindsay and her wife Nat find themselves struggling through suburban life. The titular Killer Piñata has been seemingly dead for quite some time. However, a new living Piñata seeks out his help, which reawakens him. They start a new killer spree, prompting Lindsay and Nat to get the gang back together in order to stop them once and for all. This review is made possible by Ken Sledge of Sledgehammer Horror for sending me a screener of the movie. On that note, this will be a slightly different format for this review, as I don't want to reveal anything or give away spoilers. I did watch Killer Piñata before watching Bride. There is something of an epilogue that refreshes you if it's been a while since you've watched the first. It also gets you up to speed pretty well if you haven't seen the first film at all. I'd still recommend watching Killer Piñata first just to get the full vibe. Killer Piñata was an extremely low-budget film, just a few $1,000s, I think. Bride had about $17,000, and I believe that helped a lot. It looks better, sounds better, and genuinely feels like the crew had more money to play with. I like the look and movement of the piñatas. In the first, the Killer Piñata seemed stiff, which sounds absolutely ridiculous to say about something made out of cardboard and paper. However, here the puppetry of both of them was more fluid and unhindered. On a similar note, the practical effects looked pretty good for some of the kills, and whatnot. It did get me to laugh a few times. The scene where Ken is involved is, of course, one. I did have to pause at a certain moment because I was laughing a bit too much. There is a twist involved with the Bride Piñata, or LP, that I genuinely didn't see coming, and I actually was surprised by it. I liked it. The homages to other horror movies were cool. I liked those. It goes without saying that Child's Play has a big influence on Killer Piñata. There's also the link to nearly every horror movie sequel that involves the antagonist getting a bride. Bride of Frankenstein being a clear one. This film covers a surprising spectrum of emotions in regards to the characters, even the piñatas themselves. There's a flashback portion that genuinely felt dread-filled and sad. The blood did look rather fake. Listen, I know how hard it is to make realistic-looking fake blood. It probably could have been a bit shorter. I wasn't bored by it, but it might have overstayed its welcome just a little bit. I had somewhat of a hard time trying to connect with the characters, but this could just be a case of me not gravitating towards a particular character, so take it with a grain of salt. I will say that of this group, LP was probably my favorite. Overall, I don't think the humor that Killer Piñata is known for is quite for me. Yes, like I said, I did laugh a few times. It was paced better than Killer Piñata, I think. I just didn't vibe with all of it, and that's okay. It's subjective. There are a few subplots mixed into the Killer Piñata storyline. Because of this, I feel like it got a little convoluted, particularly in the third act. Keeping in mind that Killer Piñata is known for a chaotic approach to telling its story. It may not be for everyone. There are two rather special and key elements I want to talk about. One is that this is the first screener I have been privileged to receive since I reviewed 420 Massacre, so shout out again to Ken. Second is that it was really fun to see a dear friend of mine in a horror movie. I imagine it was a blast to be a part of this. As I mentioned before, this was a screener that I was given, but the film was just released on Amazon Prime for streaming. There's a link for it in the description for you guys. I will also direct you to the interview that Ken did with the director of both Killer Piñata films, Stephen Tramontana, if you'd like some more insight into these movies. With all that being said, I'm giving Bride of Killer Piñata 6.5 out of 10 bloody thumbs up. While I can't say that either Killer Piñata films are scary, they are entertaining, and let's be honest, you're not really going into a movie about a murderous party favor, expecting to be terrified. It just depends on your style of humor and what subgenre you enjoy the most. Regardless, I can easily see the creativity and effort that was put into Bride from everyone involved. It was great to see the progression and growth of the story in this sequel as well as the improvements that were made. Thank you once again to Ken Sledge for the screener. I would recommend Bride of Killer Piñata to, of course, Killer Piñata fans, Chucky enthusiasts, those who enjoy parody-style horror movies, and anyone who would like to see a horror movie with heart. See you later. If you're looking for more low-budget indie horror, check out my reviews of 420 Massacre 2018 and The Evil Dead 1981. Thank you to my patrons Michael Musail, The Horror Show, Bronson Wright Wolf, Diana Moe, Sean Sheridan, and Raiders AK for supporting the channel.